Starting as a little ska funk band in Anaheim, No Doubt became one of the biggest rock bands in the 90s. After years of hiatus, they will play again at Coachella Festival 2024, which can cause a definitive return despite Gwen's solo career. In this video, you will learn about the band's history through their discography, giving the musical context and a review for each album. No Doubt is probably my favorite band. During my teenage years, it was the band that I listened to the most, even that it was during the 2010s. Although I don't think they are like one of the best bands of all time, I have a lot of affection for their music and I hope to show why I like them so much. So welcome to Ricky Resenha, a channel that talk about music from anytime and any place. No Doubt started as a band of teenage friends who like an unusual music genre for Americans, ska. Popularized in the 60s, ska was the first Jamaican commercial music genre, which spawned genres like rocksteady and reggae. In the 80s, ska fused with punk rock in England at the second ska wave, creating the two-tone genre. From that, bands like The Specials and Madness made some success in the US. Around mid-80s, the young Eric Stefani and his sister Gwen Stefani fell in love with ska when he broke a Madness record. It was a trigger for Eric to start playing keyboard and form a ska band with his friend John Spence as the vocalist. With Gwen as backing vocal, No Doubt started to play in places like Stefani's garage and clubs, which attracted other musicians to join the band. One of the first was the English bassist Tony Canal, who began a relationship with Gwen. Around Christmas 1987, a tragic event almost ended the band. John Spence passed away at 18 years old. A trauma not forgotten by the members who always paid homage to the group's original leader. After the incident, it was hard for them to stay together. No Doubt managed to continue with Alan Mead as the vocalist, but without having a permanent vocal member, Gwen Stefani ended up taking over the lead singing. 2 years later, the bands got their first stable formation. Gwen Stefani as lead singer, Eric Stefani on keyboards, Tony Canal as bassist, and the new members, Tom Dumont on guitar and Adrian Young on drums. Brass players like trumpeters and saxophonists wasn't regular members. At the time, a local ska scene was formed in California, the beginning of what we call the third wave of ska. Bands such as the Mighty Mighty Bosstones and Operation Ivy developed the ska punk style, combining the rhythms and brass section of ska with the speed and distortion of punk rock.
Orange County has always been a hotbed of punk rock music. Even though we're not a punk rock band, we kind of grew up out of that scene. We played in the ska punk scene for many, many years. We still are able to play with those bands, like at festivals and stuff like that. And even though our music's a lot more diverse than a lot of those bands.
No Doubt played at various venues and opened for bands like The Untouchables and Fishbone. Besides their roots in two-tone, No Doubt was developing a diverse sound that didn't always fit in the ska field. After 5 years in activity and being rejected by ska labels, they got a record deal with the newest label, Interscope Records, in 1991.
A fella named Tony Ferguson came to my office and he said, "There's this incredible ska band that I want you to see." And I said, you know, this is something that if we water it, over the years, it could be a redwood, could be incredible. So we signed them.
Until this moment, Tony was the manager and Eric had done the songwriting and all the visual assets, such as the band logo. All the other members had other jobs, since unsigned bands can barely afford their own activities, and they went to college. The contract seemed to be a fresh thing to make the band as a full-time job, but there would still be a long way to go. No Doubt's self-titled album came in 1992 and had songs composed from the band's early years, besides being a redo from an indie project they wanted to drop. So it represented a lot of the sound that the band was building since their formation. The The release was a big flop and there are many explanations for that. The most talked about is the grunge dominance in rock mainstream at the time, a distorted and melancholic sound opposite to the jazzy and upbeat band's proposal. However, I don't think this was the only reason. In the early 90s, ska was still an underdog genre in America, and I have to say it never reached the mainstream the way it seems. Ska punk had its relevance in mid-90s, but it was more rock bands with some inspiration in Jamaican music than bands with a heavy ska understanding, beyond their biggest hits being their least ska songs. On the other hand, No Doubt's first album had more ska sensibilities, with a dominant brass section, occasional offbeat rhythm, and groovy bassline. One of band's signature genre, new wave, came naturally due to the connections with punk rock and two-tone music. An ignored genre that I think it is very present is funk rock, which was the closest the album came to the trends at the time. Indeed, funky was one of the genres No Doubt identified themselves since the beginning, and it's reported that Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers helped in some demos. He is not in the credits but appears in the album acknowledgements. So in commercial terms, the album sound was far from what people wanted to listen even in the underground scene. Also, we can't ignore they were a band with a female vocalist. Women have been snubbed throughout the history of music industry, especially in rock. In genres like ska, their presence was practically nil if it wasn't for singers like Pauline Black from The Selectors. Another thing that didn't help at all was Interscope. It's hard to understand what commercial expectations they had because they didn't provide enough assistance. Interscope knew nothing about ska or punk rock, and hired metal producer Ditto Goldwyn to produce the album. A low budget led them to record in the cheapest studios in Los Angeles, and the label didn't make a release strategy. The single Trapped in a Box was released practically independently, and without radio interest, they just have a brief tour to promote the project. The self-titled is an exceptional album in No Doubt's discography. I know it's some people's favorite, but I don't recommend starting with it if you know a little about the band. The cartoonish style and unintentional low production may be difficult for some, and this is their only album like that. In 1993, No Doubt began working on new music that Interscope wasn't very interested in, as their business with Dr. Dre's Death Row Records and alt-rock label Trauma Records were more convenient. In the meantime, two important events happened. Tony broke up with Gwen, which had a huge impact on the themes of the new songs. The Road Times made some collaborators left the band, like Gwen Stefani, one of the band's founders and main songwriter, who left the band to invest in his animation career. About 3 years passed between delays and imminent risk of breaking up until No Doubt decided to independently release the Beacon Street collection in 1995. Named in reference to their house avenue in Anaheim, they already had released 2 singles before, containing songs from those sessions and other ones like Total Hate 95, featuring Bradley Nowell from Sublime, a song from the time of John Spence. The album was a teaser of what was to come and showed more the variety of musical references they cultivated. Much better produced with a smart decision to bring Tom's guitar to the front, and tracks like Doghouse has one of the best vocals from Gwen. I think if Interscope had invested the album, it would have gone further than it did. The Beacon Street collection sold more than the debut and made Interscope interested in the band again. Actually, it was the owner of Trauma Records, Paul Palmer, who wanted to promote the new album. He mixed some songs and brought the new wave producer Matthew Wider to finish No Doubt's third album, Tragic Kingdom. The name was a reference to Disneyland located a few blocks from their house and represented the situation the band was living in the past years.
The record really kind of reflects the times, us growing up in Orange County and spending the last 2 years in a garage about, I don't know, 1 street from Disneyland. You could actually hear the fireworks and the Matterhorn every night.
Canal recalls the whole situation of about what our lives went through in those 2 years of making the record, just seemed to fit all the way around. The album was released in the fall of 1995, but only started to be noticed when the lead single, Just a Girl, came out, getting massive radio requests, beyond the remarkable music video. That year they headlined the first Warped Tour edition. From 1996, No Doubt would be one of the most popular rock bands for the rest of the decade. Despite the wide variety of styles and the band not defining themselves as ska punk, Trash Kingdom was a driving force behind the peak of the third wave of ska, followed by Sublime and Rancid albums. Also, it was a new moment for women in rock with Alanis Morissette, Hole, Garbage, The Cranberries, and much more topping the charts.
When I first started out, I was kind of like assumed to be the tag-along groupie girlfriend of the band. No one would ever assume that I would be in the band, you know what I mean? But now it's like there's so many female artists and it's way more accepted than it was, you know, in '87 or whatever.
Gwen Stefani became a fashion icon and attracted a huge female fanbase that the media refers as Gwen Abyss. Soon, the international breakthrough came with their smash hit Don't Speak, a heartbreak ballad about Gwen and Tony end of relationship, another strong theme in the entire album. At the end of 1997, Trash Kingdom had sold more than 10 million copies, and today it's around 18 million. I hardly recommend anyone to listen. It's not revolutionary or on the list of best albums of all time, but it's consistent, very dynamic with a range of styles and themes. There is the heartbreak thing, but also love, friendship, coming of age, motivational lyrics, social and genre issues. There is pop, rock, punk, ska, new wave, raga rock, flamenco, Tejano, all together in a concept album that every track added something to the main story. I also recommend the concert doc Live at the Trash Kingdom, and I want to take the opportunity to praise No Doubt supporting musicians Gabriel McNair and Steve Bradley, who are with the band since 1995 in every live performances. They also participated in the recordings. The next albums show No Doubt were not afraid to reinvent themselves. Return of Saturn and Rocksteady were released close together, and each one is very unique, like any ND album. The unpretentious appearance at the 1998 VMAs gave clues about the band's new moment post-Trash Kingdom. After releasing the single New, Gwen's pink hair became part of the brand of the new project. Still in 1998, No Doubt started to write a new album with great producers such as Glenn Ballard from Michael Jackson and Alanis Morissette albums, and Jerry Harrison from the Talking Heads. There was a lot of pressure and tension on the recording sessions that took 2 years. In the lyrics, the new lover's subject would be Gwen's former husband Gavin Rossdale from Bush, another Trauma Records band. Also, age caught up, and the members who had been on the road for so long entered the crisis of adulthood, especially Gwen. That's why the project was called Return of Saturn.
My boyfriend kept telling me, you know, you're going through this time period, it's called Saturn Returns, and it takes Saturn 29 years to circle the sun. And so from the time of your birth to the time it returns, you go through this time of reassessment and second guessing, and you kind of clear away everything that's holding you back from growing and moving on and maturing.
Return of Saturn is more mature and melancholic than their previous works. There is a lot of the qualities of Trash Kingdom, but sonically it's more centered in a type of new wave and post-grunge sound. Got nothing close to the numbers of Trash Kingdom, and we can discuss a lot of reasons for that, and it's probably one of alternative rock last gasps before nu metal taking over. If you are enjoying the video, don't forget to like. It's important for YouTube metrics to boost my video for more people. At the end of 2000, Gwen had gone back to her platinum blonde hair, and No Doubt would be called by the rising popularity of dancehall, which was appropriate given the band's roots in Jamaican music.
We were really influenced by the whole dancehall thing. We were really getting into the dancehall on our last tour, doing little dancehall parties backstage and stuff like that.
We've been opening ourselves up to different kinds of music, and mostly dancehall reggae.
And they done the best thing, going to Jamaica itself to make demos with local artists and producers. Named Rocksteady in reference to the genre derived from ska, it's their only album without development hell, with flowing sessions, working with Jamaican artists like Bounty Killer, Lady Soul, Law, Sly and Robbie, and Steely and Clive. A number of notable producers and engineers also participated in the process. The Neptunes, Neil Hooper, William Orbit, Rick Ocasek from The Cars, and Spike Stent. Also, Prince is featured and wrote a track. The result is what it looks like. A mega pop rock album based on dancehall, dub, and reggae with their regular new wave style. Released in the end of 2001, it was very well received, yielding hits and awards. It's no doubt most poppiest and commercial album, with more superficial and party-oriented lyrics, but it's very well produced and enjoyable. If you are not much into rock music or just know Gwen's solo career, then you should start with this one. I think it prepares you more to be able to consume the works of the 90s. Rocksteady led to an arena tour that was recorded, and this doc is what made me fall in love with, no doubt. I remember watching it for the first time and I don't have words to describe this show. It's the same energy and commitment from Live at the Trash Kingdom, but there are songs from the later two albums, so the setlist is perfect. In celebrations of band's achievements, No Doubt released in 2003 the box set Boombox, containing two compilations. A greatest hits called The Singles Collection that includes their cover of It's My Life from Talk Talk. Also Everything Time, a compilation of B-sides, remixes, demos and some old standalone singles. These releases marked the end of an era. The It's My Life music video, their best in my opinion, represented the harbinger of a hiatus, a break after so many years working together. Gwen Stefani's solo career makes a video that I will do in the future. I have a lot to talk about that. It was supposed to be just one pop dance album that became two. Still in 2006, Tony and Adrian talked about new No Doubt album in early stages. Gwen embarked on a solo tour in 2007 and the band got reunited for the final show. And album sessions started in 2008 in another development hell. Note that this happened on almost all of the band's albums, but here it was traumatic. According to Gwen, we didn't know what we were doing. Everything was basically a series of accidents and mistakes. They scrapped and started over and over with periods of writing block. They made a successful tour in 2009, which helped on the process, but the album had multiple delays. I remember starting to follow them at the end of 2010, and when we thought they were ready, they got another delay, until they released Push and Shove in the fall of 2012. Back there, the world and the music industry had changed drastically since their last album, and was about to change again. Rock music was commercially in their worst period, with almost no bands on mainstream and album sales were decreasing. Push and Shove had extensive initial promotion during what I call the last era of music in television. I remember they performing everywhere in almost all music awards and TV shows. Yet public reception was lukewarm, at least far from a great comeback. Some reviews talk about how Gwen pop albums had influenced the band's sound, but I think Push and Shove has more rock songs than Rocksteady. It's their most ska album since Trash Kingdom. Until today, I had mixed feelings about Push and Shove. It's very cohesive with a mean theme about comebacks, nostalgia, and enjoy the moment messages. The first 4 tracks intended to be singles should have received more attention. I still think it's probably their worst album and I'm not a fan of the mixing. They should have collaborated with more musicians, especially due to the difficulty in the sessions. It is clear that they lost the hype after so many delays and failed to renew their audience. The Looking Hot video controversy kind of killed the promotion. It is visible that there was a discouragement afterward, in addition to low sales. I just learned that the track Push and Shove, which had some promotion paid for by the band, was not a single because Busy Signal was found guilty on drug charges at the time. This album suffered a series of misfortunes. I hope someday they will be at peace with it. And how did things get to where they are today? Before the answer, please subscribe to my channel. I make videos about music and I always try to bring the best information without sensationalism. I will be glad to have you support my work here. Now let's understand what happened to No Doubt almost disband today. In the beginning of 2013, No Doubt announced that they were writing new music and had postponed the tour plans. Greg Kurstin was involved in the production. Apparently, it didn't went well. In the following 2 years, they played at festivals occasionally, while Gwen was releasing new solo material, despite repeatedly denying any desire to return to solo work. In 2016, Gwen stated that, "I don't know what's going to happen with No Doubt. I think we've grown apart as far as what kind of music we want to make. I was really drained and burned out when we recorded that album. The production felt really conflicted. It was sad how we all waited that long to put something out and it didn't get heard." Last year, Adrian was even more skeptical.
I think that will remain our last album. Unfortunately, I don't see us touring anymore either. I could be wrong. You never know, things could change.
In some days, No Doubt will play again at Coachella Festival as a surprising act. A definitive comeback is not ruled out, and like everybody, I think it depends more of Gwen than the other members. Her last solo album wasn't a successful either, although she managed to establish herself as a TV personality. Since 2018, Gwen have played No Doubt songs on her solo concerts, which she had never done before and in my view shows her self-sufficiency in relation to No Doubt. Today, the other 3 members have a supergroup with Dave Havoc from AFI, and they just released a new EP this year. And that's the situation we have for now. But overall, I love No Doubt and I think you should give it a try. If you still just know 1 or 2 songs, I would go to the Singles Collection, which is a good summary of the band's best songs. In my opinion, Tragic Kingdom, Return of Saturn and Rocksteady are ultimately their best albums, but I also love the Beacon Street Collection, which feels like more a compilation than an album itself. Push and Shove is an album that I would not encourage you to listen. It's not bad, but I would only go for it after listening all their previous albums. Everything Time is more to fans, but it's a good extension from the big 3 albums. So this is my recommendations. If you know their music, tell me in the comments what is your favorite No Doubt album or song. Thanks for watching, and you can check this recommended video here or another one from my channel page. See you!